what am I thinking about today? And then look at what you've experienced today. And what you'll be setting yourself up with tomorrow is what you're thinking about today. You're in charge, but if you're not paying attention, then you're not in charge. But you're still in charge because you're the one who's thinking, and that's your world of experiencing. So if you see it like that, it'll cause you to think, well, maybe I better watch what I'm thinking because, whatever you're putting out for someone else, you're also giving to yourself. So if they're not going to like it, you aren't either. As a man thinketh in his heart, male, female, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he, so does he, so has he. So you're in charge, just take charge, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And I want to add this. One of the biggest deceptions that you're telling yourself is that I can't control my thinking. It's an outright lie. You do it all the time. You're just not conscious of doing it. What we're asking you to do is do it more aware. Would you agree?
That's it. That's it. It's all about being aware. Whatever you're aware of is in your world. Whatever you're not aware of isn't in your world. Look, you're actually on all the time, and you're receiving all the time because you're praying ceaselessly. That's right, without stopping. Without stopping. You're praying ceaselessly. Every word, we're told, every word is taken into culmination to make up your daily experiences. I mean, it's an as within, so without drama. So why are you looking out there? It all starts out in you. If you want a new life, then go in there and make it new within yourself. You see yourself. Imagining creates the real in this drama man. That's what I heard from Neville Goddard 50 years ago. And it just bowled me over every time I thought about it. Because if as I think I am, then I'm in control, even if I'm out of control. That's right. And so are you. And so is everybody. Look, there's only God. In the beginning, God. In the end, God. That's it. Jesus told you, I and my Father are one, even as you and I are one. One. And you're called one by one. And it's called from within yourself. I'm with you always. I will never leave you. Never desert you. Omnipresence. Come on. What is it that you're looking for? Because I tell you this. You're looking for is looking for you. And thinking makes it so. Is that right?
Absolutely. I was talking to a person, a young lady in Pakistan. She was doing some work for me on my website. And she said that in her community, because of course, it's primarily male-dominated, and that's just the culture. But she wanted to start a business, and she began to envision herself as being wealthy, by what it is that she's offering to other people. You said something earlier, and I want to come back to it, and this is why I brought the point up. If you want a new life, imagine it.
That's it. Imagining creates reality. God is your human imagination. I'm with you always. I will never leave you. Omnipresence. What more do you need to know? You can listen to 1,000 programs and you can't hear any more than that. When you say?
Absolutely. And some of you are going to say, Mr. Lindell, DeCarlo, it can't be that simple as me simply beginning to imagine, but it is. And it's the only thing that can change your current life. Would you agree?
Look, if they're saying it's wrong, test it. We'll hear what you got to say about it. If you test it, I'll hear what you got to say about it. Because it works. It is. I mean, I'm here just as a witness. I'm not here as an example. man, I forget things and I screw things up just like everybody else does. But the point is that it's all done with the good life. It isn't done with the negative life. Because if you don't think about it, it has no life. If you think about the negative, you're giving it life. You're feeding it. It just loves to be fed by you. Because that's what ego does. If you let ego run the show, he'll run you right in the grave. And he doesn't want you to die, but if you do, well, he'll just go to the next one. Because attitude awareness is what it's all about. Your attitudes. Believe me, it's all about your attitudes. In life in general. And that you will take with you when you say you died. That goes with you. There's nothing transforming in death. You play ding-dong here, you get to play ding-dong again, and again, and again, until you want to know first person. Because it is all about you, first person. In the whole of the book, it is written about I am that I am. God is all things to all, and he's waiting for you. You turn to me, I'll turn to you, he says. Where are you? Isn't that the question? Where are you?
It is the question. It is the question. You know, and I like what you said a moment ago. You said, you know, we're not here as examples. We're here as witnesses. And I will attest that the things that we talk about, I'm not just talking off the top of my head or stuff that I've just tried to theorize. I'm speaking to you from my experience. Mr. Lindell is speaking from his experience. So, and likewise, when you listen to Neville, you're talking about people that are speaking from their experience that these principles, these laws work. So we're not trying to come up with some new theory or anything like that. We're telling you what's worked for us. And when I get off track, it still works. And it works so well that I have to find myself getting back on track because then I'm dealing with chaos in my own life. So we're not doing this perfectly, so don't look at us as the examples of somebody that's Saint Lindell and Saint DeCarlo. That's not the case. We're just like you. We fail, we fall short, but we understand that when we're falling short, what we need to do is begin to change our thinking in the direction of what it is that we want to accomplish at that moment. Would you agree?
That is, if they have a dream. You know, that's the whole thing. Most people are so busy being negative, they don't have a dream. And when the people fail to dream, they start to die. I mean, that's Scripture. I'm not telling you anything. It's right there in Scripture. If you read it, it'll jump right out at you. If you're really seeking to know first person, you'll know. Because God has told you, you will be informed. If you ask, you'll be informed. But you don't need to ask all of it. You only need to ask what makes you happy. Because you're given choose this day. And that's a problem too, because it's always this day, and you're always choosing. But the question is, what? Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. The what? You know, you said the only thing you need to do is ask what makes you happy. Some people have made it their mission to look at all the woes of the world and everything that's going on in the world, and that's what they're giving their attention to, and they wonder why they're miserable. And they think that that's their responsibility to take the woes of the world on their shoulder. It's not their responsibility. Would you agree?
Absolutely. But at the same time, you see, they don't have to be involved in what they're praying to help. See what I mean?
I do.
In other words, you don't have to actually go out and carry a gun and be charged to kill or anything else. It's all psychological. This is a psychological drama. When people wake up to the idea that this actually is a psychological drama, their whole life will just shift. You'll find that the negatives are all self-created. They have no existence except you're feeding them. So if you'd stop that, it'd stop it all. It's you who has to take charge, not the people around you. If they're bugging you, then it's your fault. If they bug you, that's your fault. You can not accept anything. You can stop it right in the tracks, but you don't have to say anything outward at all. You just do it all within yourself. You say, Father, they know not what they do. That's all Jesus said about being hung up on the cross. But this is the cross. Spread your arms out. That's the cross that Jesus is hung on right here. If you want to save him, save yourself. He tells you. And also God tells, physician, heal thyself. Now, that's not a slap in the face to a doctor. No. That's you. Because is not the Christ in you? Is that not the physician?
Absolutely.
The physician, heal thyself. Telling you, wake up. And that's exactly what it is you do. You wake up. Because you're dreaming the dream. This is a virtual reality. We're told in Scripture it's a shadow world. What's a shadow world? It's not the real thing. It's a shadow world. This is a virtual reality out of the mind of man. I mean, everything out here that you're looking at, I've got thousands of items in this room, and every one of them came out of the mind of some man. It all had to be imagined. Everything is imagined, and imagining is God himself. And he gave you to choose this day. He gave you himself and the power. You see, if he didn't do it, it wasn't done. And he gave you choose this day. What are you choosing? Just ask yourself, really, question yourself. What am I choosing? And then see what you're thinking feelingly about. That's what you're choosing. And you say, oh, no, I don't want none. Well, then stop thinking about it, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And it goes back to what you were saying about imagining. We have to understand that imagining is always first cause. What we're seeing on the without is the byproduct or the illusion of imagining, but the imagining is more real than what we see in front of us. Would you agree?
That's right. It absolutely is. Imagining is all of it. And everything around you had to first be imagined. Everything. Thought about long enough to be a benefit to the person thinking about it. You see, if you think about things that are a benefit to you, then that's what you receive. If you think about things that are not a benefit to you, well, that's what you receive. So you're told to be aware. It's all about being aware of what you're thinking, because your thinking is your world of experiencing. And once you get that planted in your mind as a mindset, it will tell you, hey, you don't be thinking that way. Because if we think that way, that's what we'll be experiencing. So don't do that. See, your mindset works automatically, and that's what you want. You want something to automatically get you back on track. And so it's a discipline. Everything is a discipline. When you get out of bed in the morning, it's a discipline for most people. I know it was for me for a long time. So you have to be willing to follow what it is you say you believe. You probably say you believe a lot of things, but you're not operating from it. So if you're not operating from it, then you don't really believe it, you just know about it. But knowing about it is a great place to start. I mean, I've got no problem with that. That knowing about it is a great place to start. But you have to move on from there. You're told if you'll feel after him, you'll find him. That's you being, doing, having your heart's desire. If that's what you'll focus on. So focus on it, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. You know, you said something, and you said, hey, 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 don't be thinking that way. Don't miss what was said. You have the power when a negative thought comes up to say, what the heck are you thinking about? And say, you know, let me shift my thinking to something else. I'm challenging you who have the challenge with your thinking to start practicing that. Catch yourself thinking something that's erroneous, for example, and challenge it, and then shift it. Would you agree?
Yes, I would. And you know, a lot of countries, they usually have ceremonies where they whip themselves with, actually whips. They actually draw the blood off their back, whipping themselves. And all of that is done to remind them how they're thinking, to actually really understand how they're thinking. Actually, I don't think I'd go that route, but but you actually you can discipline yourself to be anything that you want to be. It's all that simple. It's all about discipline, isn't it?
It is.
I mean, and if the self is not disciplined, well, then that's chaos. And you experience chaos. You say, where did that come from? Why me? Why this? Why now? And if I tell you that it's all your own thinking feelingly, and whether you believe it or not, you'll keep experiencing it. So if you believe it, you can change it. But if you don't believe it, and you believe that's the natural thing, the nonsense, well, have a fill of it, though. Really, have a fill of it. Really, really get into it. Really jump in the mud and really get muddy. But when you're serious to know first person, you will. Because God said you will. God told you you will know. That's whether you do it or not. Well, that's another thing. But you will know what to do, and when you really know what to do, you'll do it. And you will know what to do because you're told you will be informed. And that's what we're here doing. We're informing you that your say is a valid say. And if you just watch what you're saying with your valid say and actually say to yourself, this is a good thing, I wouldn't mind this myself. But if you say, "Oh, don't want that," well, if you wouldn't want that, then the other person probably wouldn't want it either. And if you give it to him, you're also giving it to yourself, because you and he are one. There's only one. There's only God in the world. So if you're trying to punish someone else for something they did, you're punishing God also, because he gave the person permission to be the person that you want to punish. Attitude awareness and imaginational control, that is everybody's safe haven if you'll direct it. And that's the same thing for your whole vast world of experiencing. Direct it. You're here to be a director. Be a good one, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And to help you with directing your thoughts, play a game with yourself by simply thinking about, let's say, the woes of the world, something negative. Then shift and think about something positive. Then go back, think about something negative. What I'm trying to get you to do is to become a more conscious creator. And if you know that you can turn on and turn off negativity, you'll become very powerful in your thinking, and you'll begin to direct your thoughts more to what it is that you want to create in your world. Would you agree?
I do agree with you. Someone said to me, well, okay, how would you change your mind? Well, very simple. I think of Tom and Jerry. If you think of Tom and Jerry, just run them through your mind for a minute or so. What you were thinking before just kind of fades away. What you give your attention to, you're giving your life to. If you're giving your life to Tom and Jerry, the other one has to go. There's nothing to feed it. It'll die. It's as simple as that. You think about something that just really brings a smile to your face, and then don't drop it. The smile, that is. Yeah. You know, if you cause yourself to smile, it's contagious even to yourself. You know, really it is. Wouldn't you say?
Matter of fact, when you put the smile on your face, your whole disposition changes. Even as a person walking around with a frown on their face, when they shift from that frown to that smile, body, physiology, everything changes. Would you agree?
Yes, I do. And also, it's like the guy said. He was sitting there and he was totally unaware of what was happening. And I asked him, I said, are you all right? And he said, yeah. He says, I was happy this morning. When I walked in here, I was happy. And this guy came in and sat down there next to me, and he started telling me his story about some employee something or other thing. And I got involved in his conversation, and he stole my happiness. I mean, he walked out and he took my happiness with him. No, he didn't. I told him, no, you didn't. No, he didn't. You gave it away. You could have told him, well, I don't deal in problems like that. That's it. He didn't steal anything from you. You let it go. So if you blame him, then every time you see him, you'll have a negative thought, a negative feeling. But if you drop it right there, it goes away. If you don't give it thought, you won't feed it, and it'll leave. If you just see it that way, that what you don't like can't survive if you stop your attention feeding it. And that's what people do. If you can choose your next thought, great, don't stop, and you're free. Wouldn't you say?
Absolutely, and I want to go back to the situation with blame. Sometimes people are going to think that you're cold, cruel, whatever, because you tell them that you don't want to talk about the problems of today or what's going on in the world without. You know, they're not going to always see the benefit immediately, but as Lindell kind of suggested, the man gave his power away to someone else by choosing to listen to negativity. We have a choice, and we can say to a person nicely, listen, you know, I just don't like that kind of stuff in my spirits. I really don't want to talk about that. Can we change the subject? If you find that you can't change the subject with the person, then you probably have to talk to that person less. Would you agree?
Yeah, if at all.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because a person with that attitude is always going to defend themselves and their attitude. I mean, they have to. It's a compulsion. They couldn't stop doing so. You have to let it go. Whatever attitude you have to let it go if it's not serving you. And you have attitudes that are not serving you. And I had attitudes that were not serving me. Well, as not serving me a good life, let's put it that way. But they will serve you, but negatively. And that's what you don't want. So it's always up to you. I choose what I think. And that's so important that you choose your own thinking, or at least examine everything that you hear by the hearing of the ear to see if it is worthy of your attention. And if it isn't, drop it immediately. Because I'll tell you what, any thought that you think more than a few seconds will start actually adding things to make that situation grow. And if it's a negative situation, it can really actually drive you nuts over a period of time. So the idea is just drop all the negative. I know you got bills that are due and all of that. Honestly, God knows what it is that you do have a bill that's due all the time. He probably hears you complaining about it morning, noon, and night. And he also knows that you're complaining about it morning, noon, and night will be the stumbling block to keep you from fulfilling your duties. But you can mentally handle everything. If you can't handle it physically, you can handle it mentally because you're given a valid say. if you would just say your valid say for a while and start seeing the benefits of doing so, of directing your own inner conversation, you'll never stop. I mean, you'll never stop. Believe me, you got the free ticket. What you say?
Absolutely. And I want to say for the person that's interacting because their workplace or it's their boss or someone that may be superior to them because of age or parents or whatever, and you're dealing with a negative conversation and they won't let it go, when you leave that person's presence, revise the conversation and make it a more pleasant conversation. Would you agree?
That's it. You're either in charge or you're charged. And if what the guy said holds water with you, then you'll drown in it. It's as simple as that. Let it go. If you don't let it go, you'll drown in it. I can't think of another way to say it plainer, but it's always as you think you are, not how the other person thought. You can even listen to them for even a long period of time and still not agree with them, but not disagree with them vocally. And if you do that, if you can do that, you disarm them. They can't even defend their case because you're not questioning it. And that really that really does it for them. If they can't get someone to listen, right?
Absolutely. And you talked about someone and complaining about their bills. I used to be one of those people that complained about my bills, and I shifted and turned the situation around. I realized what the bills were doing, keeping my lights on, keeping me, allowing me to have a mortgage, allowing me to have a car to drive around in. I started praising when I write checks now, when I make credit card payments, when I do insurance and so forth. I give thanks for my bills because I understand the service that they provide. So that can even help you because a lot of times many of us stay impoverished because of our mindset, not because of the bills. And if we shift that mindset, we'll attract a new form of energy. Would you agree?
You know, I do agree. And I'll tell you, to get it simply, you're either thinking yourself in hell, helping yourself to heaven. What are you doing? If it's making you happy, then you got it right. If it's making you unhappy, then you got it wrong. And you can change it. Change your mind. Change your world. I keep saying that, and I keep saying that, and I will keep saying it until somebody actually realizes that they have to test all of these principles. Every principle has to be activated by you, first person. I can't activate it for you, and I don't intend to even want to. It's your choice, always your choice. Take it or leave it. But you suffer the consequences and the trade-offs and the ramifications for not testing it for yourself, because that's the only way you will know first person, testing it for yourself, first person. Wouldn't you say?
I would. So as we're closing, how to think and get what you want, what would you say to the listeners?
Stop wanting it and start being it. You have to mentally prepare yourself to step into that pair of shoes. As you think, you are. If you're thinking about what you really, really, really desire, and you'll do it consistently, persistently, it's yours. Seek and you shall find. And that's exactly what you're doing. You're seeking it and you find it. If you know what you want, then it's yours. But you have to start thinking from it, not of it. That's the stance, isn't it?
That's it. There's been a pleasure.
Yes, it has. It always is. It always is, because you see, because I start thinking in a certain way, it adds to it and adds to it and adds to it. There'd be no end to this conversation.
That's true. It's been a pleasure.
Talk to you later.